Hello, it's Kyle rambling in a closet. Thanks for listening. I don't know if you are. I don't consider myself a cinephile, which is what they call people who just love movies. Like they'll tell you that Citizen Kane is the best movie I ever made, and then I go and watch it because I might be an aspiring cinephile, but I go and watch it, and I'm like, this movie is really boring. I guess I understand why it's somewhat entertaining, but yeah, no, not my thing, I guess. So no, I just like movies though, and I do like good writing, and I do like good movies, good TV shows. They're fun, you know. There was a time in my life before I got married where I literally I would watch a movie every night. I'd go to work, come home, have a drink, watch a movie, and it was awesome. I watched a lot of new movies, but I rewatched probably even more. There are movies I've seen like 10 times now just because I love them, like Aliens 2, you know. But I like movies, and I like well-written movies. Obviously, no movie's perfect. I mean, I'm a fan of Star Wars Episode 4, you know, A New Hope, and there's some pretty bad writing, but you know, it's mostly okay. It makes up for it, you know. And I don't want to be one of those nowadays things are so terrible kind of person, but it does seem to me like nowadays the films and movies and TV shows are being written with, I don't know, less care. Less thinking, maybe. I'm not a writer. I don't know. It just seems that way. I watch quite a bit, and I've watched quite a bit of movies over the past. Now, of course, a lot of movies were made over the past 50 years that were probably stupid, and I'm just watching all the good ones, and so it's hard for me to compare. But it does seem, you know, even the movies that are held out today, when they come out as being really well written, I'll go and watch, and I'll go, I don't think so. Like the last really good movie, I think there's been a couple. But one of the last ones was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Can't recommend that one enough. My goodness. It's still my favorite. I think it's my favorite movie now. I think it beat out Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, not going to lie. But I get a sense, right, that there is a problem, a dropping off of writing skill. I don't know why, but it was really evident in the last video game I played. So in the past week, I've played 4 Call of Duty campaigns. I've been binging because I played Call of Duty, the new Black Ops, the campaign, and it was fine, but it had a lot of stupid stuff in it. And so I wanted to go back and revisit when the Call of Duty campaigns were fun, i.e. Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3, the first trilogy, 2009 to 2013 or something like that. I don't know. I love those games, and I've probably played through the campaign on every difficulty multiple times and got all the intel and got the remastered versions. I mean, it's ridiculous. I like them. They're great. They're fun. They're stupid. They're my guilty pleasure. They're like a Michael Bay movie. They're like The Rock. You know, what a weirdly written movie. So many plot holes, but you know what? I don't care. It's awesome. It is a guilty pleasure. Just like, what's the Armageddon? Oh my gosh. Armageddon, I'll watch that movie back to back. I don't even care. It's great. So stupid, so corny, but fantastic. And I realized that there was a little bit of that in the original Modern Warfare series. So I'm playing through all the games. I actually took notes, by the way, because I intended on talking about this, but I'm not going to read any of the notes that I took, which I knew I wasn't going to do, which is why I don't usually take notes, because I know I'm not going to read them because, whatever. I took a lot of notes because there's a lot of good stuff about those games. And prime among which is, even though some of this, it gets, obviously, okay, the first one, Modern Warfare 4, is pretty close to being perfect. There's some weird, crazy parts in it, but whatever. Modern Warfare 2 is Modern Warfare 4 is Modern Warfare 1 the first game? Okay, let me reset that. I'm sorry. There's a lot of numbers going on. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the first one, is technically Call of Duty 4. That's why. Okay, but we'll just reference them as the first, the second, and the third games for now, just for simplicity. The second game was like the first game on cocaine. It was wild and nutty and really quite fantastic, And what's going on in the second game, one of the reasons why it's really cool is because Russia is invading America. And the reason why that's cool, although very scary and sad to think about, while it's cool, is because you get to reenact basically, I think, every American male's dream, which is fending off the enemy from American soil. You don't play as like a private citizen defending you don't play as the Wolverines, from that movie I can't remember the name of, but it's half the game is taking place in America fighting off the Ruskies, which is kind of cool. And the third game is just nuts. and it's a lot of fun, but like it's crazy. There's one mission where you are just pushing forward, and it's this massive all-out assault with you and like 2 tanks against Germany or whatever. The Russians invaded Germany, and you're just moving up it's a beach landing, which is a kind of a tangent I want to make, by the way. There's a few levels, at least one in each game, where there's like that you're part of this invasionary force, essentially. Like in the first game, you're invading a town in Afghanistan. In the second one, you're a beach landing. I don't remember the specifics. I played 4 games in the past week, so everything's a little muddled. You're doing an amphibious invasion with air, landing and stuff. And I'm thinking, I don't want to get too... Listen, my suspension of disbelief is basically turned off to some extent when I'm playing these games, because they are my guilty pleasures. I overlook some of the ridiculous things, of which there are many. But I wonder, would we actually invade somewhere like that? Like, is that actually how we do it? Because that seems very dangerous with modern technology. Bundling up all your troops onto little troop transports and helicopter transports, landing on a very specific patch of land called the beach, and then sending troops. Like, that seems not safe. I don't know. I would be really interested to see what, like, if we were to invade a country, what that would actually look like. Not that I want to do that, but it would be interesting to see what you would, like, is that even what we do? Would we just bomb the heck out of it with ordnance and then move in? I have no idea. Honestly, it's a genuine question, because I'm playing it and I go, this seems not realistic. But then again, they're trying to... What was cool? Well, what was cool? And I'll go back. This is how I'll bring it back to what I was talking about as far as writing goes. What's cool about the modern warfare games is I feel like nowadays people get stuck in this, well, I can't predict what this would be like because I don't know. My imagination is stunted. Because back in 2009, 2000, like the late 2000s, early 2010s, there had never been a modern day invasion of 2 superpowers, right? That's never happened in modern day. So no one knows what it would look like. But you know what? They still tried to pull it off. They still tried to figure it out. Well, this is what it would look like if that happened. Okay, it's passable enough where if you don't think about it too long, it works. You go, yeah, okay, I can understand how Russia got through Americans' defenses and started paratrooping people into California. I get it. I can understand that. And New York. But nowadays, I don't even feel like they tried. Because, a good example. So I played Modern... Here are the games I played, right? The first 3 Modern Warfares, and then I also just finished Modern Warfare 3, the second one, which came out this year, which is a rehash of the original trilogies. Not a sequel, not a prequel, a reboot. So it's the same characters, but they're not the same at all. They just have the same name, and they look the same. That's it. That's the only similarities going on. There's no connection to the previous series, which is weird, because I get it. You're asking me to be... oh, wow, look, I get to play as these people who I played back in the original Modern Warfare, but they're not the same people. They just have the same name. Makes no sense why they did this. I don't understand. Whatever. There's some cool scenes, some cool bits. I've played all 3 of the new ones, but the first 2 I played a long time ago, like the second one, basically when they came out. This one I just played today, the third one of the third one. And, it was kind of fun. The shooting was fun. The sneaky missions were fun. The open world... what they called open combat missions, which is like a small open world, so you can kind of go do what you want. You can complete the objectives, and instead of like the normal on a rail, Call of Duty mission thing where you just go from objective to objective. This is a anyways, it's an open world. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, those are fun. Those are cool. You get to be sneaky, and then when you mess up, you're like, whatever, I'll just go loud, I guess, and play it like a normal mission. Yeah, they were fun, but the writing was so dull. It was really dull. There was one scene where... So, this is one of the things about the writing. In the first Modern Warfares, they were, you could say ballsy enough to create a ridiculous situation and then show the consequences of it. Like in the second one, there is this massive terrorist attack that Russia blames on America, even though, again, this is one of those, leaps of imagination that you have to make as the player to not notice the plot hole. But whatever, let's just say they bought it. They blame America, so they go invade America, and then they show what it looks like to invade America, and you couldn't stop the terrorist attack, right, from happening. But in the recent one, there is a missile that's about to go off with, bad stuff on it, and you stop it. And it's like, okay, cool. But what was cool about a lot of the missions in the Modern Warfare original trilogy is that there were bad situations that you felt like you could get to in the end, and it was like this really cool mission to get to stop it, and then you couldn't stop it. You didn't get there in time. And then the next few missions were playing out the consequences of not being able to stop that certain bad thing from happening. And they had the imagination to do so. It seems like in this one, there's this lack of... There's like, no, I don't know. There's just this going on. It's like, yeah, okay. And then you win, and then it's like, yeah, okay, all right. And I don't know. Maybe I'm not really saying this very well. I think another key difference between the two Modern Warfare trilogies is that in the first one, all of the cinematics, all of the cutscenes, all of the bits in between levels where you're not actually capable of controlling the character, it's just what you see it through a first-person point of view. You see it through the character in which you're playing. Everything that happens in the Modern Warfare games, you're seeing through your eyes. Whereas in the new ones, you see it, you play first person, and then the cinematics literally pull you out of their head. It shows the camera coming out of the back of your head. It's very strange. And then you see the person you were just playing along with everybody else with this super dramatic, high-resolution cinematic that's going on, that's progressing you through the story. And it kind of takes you out of the whole, oh, I am this guy soldier, which, by the way, again, guilty pleasure. Yes, it is fun to pretend you're a soldier sometimes. Gotta say, that's why these games, I know it sounds very dorky to say, it sounds very childlike, but it's just kind of fun, you know? Not that war is cool. I don't want to go to war personally. This would be quite unfortunate if you had to do it in real life, but that's the joy of doing it in fake life. Is you kill bad guys, and they are bad guys. What's cool about the Modern Warfare 3 original trilogy is, yeah, most of the people you are fighting against are bad guys. Now, of course, the Russian army, okay, two things are true. One, they are invading you, so any person who decides to invade your homeland, it's just self-defense at that point. It's justified, I think. However, the Russian soldiers do believe that America committed a massive terrorist attack against Russia. So, like, both sides think they're just, and that's probably the most unfortunate as far as morality goes in the games, is when the Russians and Americans are fighting each other. Because now, the Russians who kill civilians, then it's hands off at that point. Then you're a bad dude, I think, if you're just randomly doing that. But anyways, That was what was nice, I thought, about the Modern Warfare 3 trilogy, is that the original one, is that mostly all the bad guys are pretty bad, pretty obviously so. Whereas, and I mentioned this in my last podcast about Call of Duty. In the Call of Duty world, like Call of Duty 2, it's just Germans versus Americans versus Russians versus British. You're all just civilians who've been told to do what by their government. And so it's a little bit... Now, if you're a straight-up Nazi, you're probably one of the bad ones, right? But if you're just a German military soldier, I can't say you're any worse than the American military soldier unless you specifically committed war crimes or acts of immorality while raiding, French villages. If you did stuff like that, maybe not a good person. But if you just served your country and tried to do so in an honorable way, it sucks that you have to mow people like that down in those old Call of Duty games because, obviously, again, it's just a video game, but I digress. I noticed that, to bring it back to the end, or the beginning, rather, what I was saying, is that the writing and the overall... By the way, what was funny about the Modern Warfare original trilogy is that it was cool, but the mechanics were pretty basic. Like... You were there in the new Call of Duty games. You can like slide and run and jump and dive, and do interesting stuff. There's also this really cool mechanic in the new one, the second Modern Warfare 3, where if you have a secondary sidearm and it's your pistol, then you can reload your gun. But if you get caught by a person reloading your gun, you can actually quickly switch with one hand to the pistol, take him out. And then you can continue reloading and then you put the pistol away and you continue reloading from where you left off. In the original games, you start reloading, there's bad people, you have to switch to your sidearm and kill them, but then you have to go back to reloading the original in the exact same way. You have to restart from the beginning. Whereas this one, you just kind of pull it out with one hand, bink, 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 and then you finish reloading and that was pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I gotta admit, that was a nice, fun to use mechanic. And in the original games, there aren't a lot of those mechanics. You just move forward, backwards, crouch, prone, and aim and shoot. And that's pretty much it. But it was the just the process of it and the actual storyline behind it is so compelling enough that it's just kind of fun. It's just good times. Whereas in these games, in the new ones, they have all these flashy, cool new things they want you to try out. Oh, look what we did that we didn't do in the last one, kind of things. And they don't. It's like they don't put that amount. If they put that amount of effort into the story, these would probably be some of the best games ever made. But no, they're not. Especially when you take into consideration the length of these games. If you look at the original trilogy, I think their campaigns are all in the 8 to 10 hour mark, which might be wrong. Might be like 6 to 8 hours. I don't know. But they're all past 5 hour marks, whereas you look at all the recent ones, and they're all basically sub 6 hour games. I think this one was a 4 hour game. It took me no time at all to finish it. Then again, I've been binging these games. Not gonna lie. Normally, I just play PUBG, and that's my video games for the day. But I've gotten hooked. I think I might just do one more game, and then I might just go back to my original schedule because I'm playing way too many video games recently. That's okay though. We can have our little spurts there. What was I saying? Yeah, I feel like the super cool mechanics are, and the thing is now these games, like, okay, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, 2, 3, all had massive multiplayer support as well. Like, a lot of people love the multiplayer, and they added new stuff to it for the multiplayer, and that was cool. But now it seems like, but there was also this big, robust, well-written campaign that you could do by yourself, not to mention the side missions, the side solo missions, like Special Operations and Survival in Modern Warfare 3, the first one. A lot of good stuff. But in these games, it's like they're made to be multiplayer, which they were fun. I remember playing Modern Warfare 1, 2019, the second one. God, it's so confusing. I remember playing that multiplayer quite a bit because it was pretty fun. The guns were cool. The mechanics of moving around and shooting, like in some of the other games that have come out recently, I just get demolished. If it's not PUBG or Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, I get demolished because these 13-year-old kids on Adderall are using their mom's credit cards to buy like all the good stuff, and they just zip around. I don't even know what's going on. You can tell. I think I've mentioned this before, but you can tell when school is in your time zone because all of a sudden you can like win matches and actually start doing pretty well, and then 3 o'clock hits, and then all the kids are back, and you just get crushed and destroyed, and it's not fun. Modern Warfare 1, for whatever reason, I guess they had a ranked component to it. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think so. I didn't notice it, but like it seemed like it was more equal to where I could even have a chance against the 13-year-olds on Adderall. They'd still kick my butt, but I feel like I had a fighting chance here. So they are fun. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I haven't played any of the other multiplayer since then because I mostly just played PUBG, but they are fun. I get it. They're fun. And the new mechanics add to that fun because, I get to do things I didn't get to do in the last game. Which, by the way, I think I'm going to end. I know I'm going to end it with that point. Don't let me forget. I want to talk about how ridiculously repetitive and costly these games are for people. So I want to get into that in the very end here. Actually, you know what? Screw it. I made my point, right? It's the games now are just more multiplayer, and then the campaigns are just there to like promote the game, I guess. So they have something to put in the trailer, but I just think they're written very half-assedly, if you know what I mean. They're not really like they're definitely secondary. And it's more about, big explosion and sound effect and new mechanic than it is about, like, the story. Because, like I said, the mechanics don't really change too much in between the original trilogy, in between each game. They kind of stay the same. But in these ones, it's like, check this new thing out. And I go, okay, fine, cool. But, like, could you make it interesting to play as well, as far as the story goes? I don't know. It's just my thought. What really cracks me up about these Call of Duty games, and I can say this because I don't fall for it. I fall for it in the end, I guess, at some point, but not, you know what I mean? Like, they are doing a Call of Duty game a year, it feels like. And I think that's the case. Every year there's a new Call of Duty game. Now and they're mostly all aimed at multiplayer, right? About people online playing against each other. Now, to me, that feels like a bad strategy. Because then you are every year ripping apart and separating the original games, the year prior's multiplayer, the amount of people who are playing the multiplayer on the game from the year prior is now being taken away and putting into the new game. And so now you're removing that last game's player base and moving it onto the new game. And so people have to relearn it. But here's the thing, people are falling for it. These games come out once a year, and they are $60 full-on games with sometimes plus $30 add-on packs. So you're paying, if you're a really silly goose, and I'm sorry if you're listening and you buy these things, I think you're a silly goose. I really do. I love you, but come on. Mostly this is your fault. But I don't think maybe you do those things, so I don't want to say it's your fault. But it is the people who buy these games every year, it is their fault. Because Call of Duty, whatever company owns them, wouldn't make these things once a year if it didn't work. And they work, and they bring in a lot of money. Even when people complain about it, they play it. And I go, dude, man, if we just stuck with like Black Ops 1 multiplayer, which I played, me and my brother played the heck out of. Black Ops 1 multiplayer was awesome. And the Modern Warfare original trilogy multiplayers, I played a little bit of that. Those were awesome. Battlefield 3 multiplayer, possibly the best. 3 and 4. 4 dropped off a bit. 3 was just perfect, I thought. I played so much 3. And don't even get me started with Bad Company 2. I don't know if you have even heard of that game, but the Bad Company 2 multiplayer, possibly the best one out there. It was just awesome, and still is. But no, it's every year we do this new thing, and because of the way the mechanics work, it's like you're just zipping. It is so annoying, these multiplayer lobbies where you're playing with people, and you're just walking around, you're taking cover, you're shooting, you're holding it up, you're doing stuff, and these people are like flying because they know how to use the jump mechanics just right to fly across the map and dip and dive and duck with their super guns, and it's like, what is going on, man? Anyways, I digress, because I'm talking about these poor saps. I don't want to say saps, because they know what they're doing. They are buying these games at full price, sometimes plus $30. They're paying almost $100 for these games that are almost the exact same game. The Modern Warfare 1, 2, 3, the new trilogy, I just played, like I said, the second, third one. Jeez. And it's like the same thing as the one I played 5 years ago. But there's just some slightly different mechanics. But that's it. And I go, what would be really cool? You know what? It would work for me. You know what would work for me? Is if you did, like, updates. Isn't that a cool idea? If you did, like, let's say we bought Modern Warfare 2019. And, wow, this is great. This is so much fun. This is cool. Even the campaign was okay. And then instead of making a new game 2 years later called Modern Warfare 2, just release, like, an add-on for $10. Modern Warfare Part 2. With new multiplayer stuff, new maps, new weapons, new guns, new mechanics for $20. Hit $20, okay? Because let's be honest, the differences between the first and second Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the new trilogy, I don't think it justifies. Now, I am not the owner of a game company. I don't work at these places. I don't know how hard it is to do this, but I cannot imagine it is deserving of the full-on price of $60 a game. I mean, didn't Cyberpunk 2077 release like almost a second game as an oh, they did do that. They released like almost a full-on game as an add-on for free. And apparently it was pretty good. So it's possible. But then again, like I said, I'm not trying to pretend I know everything. Might be hard to make a game, might be expensive, but whatever. This is what seems to be the destructor of games, in my opinion. And this has been a problem for the past 10 years, is kids who somehow have infinite access to money, and adults. By the way, actually, again, I know because I've spent money on these games, not like they do. I'm not the same. Not like they do. I'm not that bad about it. But obviously, they get my money in the end somehow. Not in the end, but somehow. Like, I didn't pay for that. By the way, I just want to say, I didn't pay for this new Modern Warfare game. It was free with my $15 a month subscription. So it's not free, but I'm paying for it anyway because you got to pay $15 a month to have online services, and then you get access to all these games. And the new Call of Duty happened to be one of them, so I thought, okay, why not? So if I had to pay $60, I wouldn't do it. At least for the next few years. See, this is the thing. This is what I do. I wait until the future to buy the new thing because it's always cheaper, and you always get to see the reviews afterwards and see if it's worth wasting your time. Now, the reviews are pretty 50-50. Anyways, I digress. Yeah, it is a bummer. Because I play PUBG, and the more kiddified, I think, more aimed at a wider demographic game version of this is either Call of Duty Warzone or Fortnite. Everybody knows about Fortnite. What Fortnite, PUBG do, what they do is they just keep adding to it. And sometimes the adding is wrong and stupid, and sometimes it's pretty cool, and it just keeps kind of gradually getting better. And I've been playing PUBG for like 6-7 years now. So, and they haven't made any money off of me other than the initial $20 I spent to buy the game. So I don't know how that works. I guess enough people, they do. It is sad. There are a lot of ways of spending money in that game, and it involves just buying costumes, basically, which is stupid because in my ultra real Battle Royale simulator, I don't want to see someone walking around with like an Easter Bunny outfit. Doesn't really make any sense to me. Not very good camouflage. It's bright white, so everybody can see you, unless you're in the snow level, I guess. But that is kind of a bummer. But I guess that's how they make money, so I'm willing to overlook it because I get it. You got to kind of keep making money to keep making the game better. So if these weird kids want to buy like a Tinkerbell outfit, then okay, whatever. I'm just going to play my game. Hopefully you're not going to get shot because you have bad camo on. But anyways, I digress. But yeah, the Call of Duty games, it's just like every year there's a new $60 game and people buy it, and I don't know who these people are. They're guys with they're guys with a lot of free time and a good paying job, I guess, or they're kids with their mom's credit card or who have a stipend or something. And they just go, yeah, I'm going to buy it because I've only been playing by the way, there are, again, PUBG, been playing it for 7 years. These kids, these people, can't play a game for more than a year with going, yeah, I'm ready for the next one. Let's see what they do. I don't know. It seems, and it's the breaker of games because then they don't put as much thought into them because they're doing once a year. And so it's like just kind of put to the wayside. And it's unfortunate because I like a good, dumb shoot 'em up game. That is my guilty pleasure. I love Halo, but I want a story too, because that, it doesn't have to be a Christopher Nolan movie level story, although the original 3 Call of Duty Modern Warfares were pretty great stories. Totally stupid and ridiculous in some parts, but pretty cool all around, I think. But yeah, so, what was cool about the original Modern Warfare series is it was like this homage to, action movies. Like there is a shout out level to The Rock where everybody's in the gulag, or no, not the gulag. Everybody's in the shower stall scene, where it's where the two enemy forces are like, put down your weapons. I will not follow that order. That whole thing. it's a really great scene, and there's a shout out to it. And among many others, by the way, there's a level called the Wolverines where it's a shout out to God, why can't I remember the name of that movie? Red Dawn. There's a lot of shout outs to like the cinema of action movies. There's a Black Hawk Down, except it's a Cobra Down, and you got to go rescue whatever. A lot of cool shout outs to, American action cinema and war movies, which is pretty fun. And that's what I want, right? That's me personally, and I think that's what most people back in the day wanted too, is just a nice, dumb, but smart shoot 'em up where I am clearly the good guy, and I am against clearly the bad people. And they just seem to be not making those nowadays. I think the last good Call of Duty, what was the last? The first Modern Warfare of the new trilogy was fine. It was interesting and cool. It gets ridiculous really quickly, though. What was the last good one? I don't know. Maybe it's just nostalgia, I guess, which is why I like the original 3 so much. But yeah, that's my review of those 4 games. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I'll probably do it again next year. And I guess I'll go and end with that. That's my ramble. This is Kyle, rambling in a closet. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.